All right, we are here at Tuckaleechee Caverns. We are about to take you into the cave.
After going in, we bought our ticket and we had a little time to kill before our tour. So we just looked around at the small shop, but the thing that caught my attention most, the thing that got me excited, was the seismograph that they have in the lobby. This is the most sensitive seismic station on Earth. Its unique position in Townsend, Tennessee allows it to hear things like waves that are 500 miles away. It could detect the tsunamis in Japan. It even detected the nuclear testing that happened in North Korea. So this is actually an interesting piece of the history of the cave and something that the government even keeps track of. Soon enough, it was our turn to go into the cave, and our tour began as we descended from the lobby right into the cave. What was interesting is, as you passed by, you saw all the wires and all the equipment that led to the seismic station that allowed it to hear in the crust of the earth all of the happenings that were going on all around the world.
Now this is called Silver Creek. All the water from the creek up in the Great Smoky Mountain National Park.
As we progressed into the cave, we learned more about the story of how the cave was discovered by two small boys and how their parents didn't believe them and they had the cave pretty much all to themselves to explore as they grew up, and how they used Molotov cocktails to light the way to show the cave that they were exploring. It was a fascinating story and definitely one that you'll have to hear when you go and visit yourself too.
This is a giant flowstone formation. We call it Flowstone Falls. From the bottom here all the way up to the top, it's actually about 90 feet tall. From side to side in width, it's about 40 feet across. At its main section here, it gets to be over 8 feet thick. This thing actually got so big over time that it cut off its water source. The water is, of course, what was making it grow and carrying those minerals to it. So it is now what we call dormant. It's no longer actively growing anymore. And that means you guys are allowed to touch this one as you pass by. If you look right here on the side, you can see all this discoloration where everybody else has been touching it before you. That's Tucker. He's actually the shadow up on the ceiling, shape of a bear. Over here, behind him, you've got our cathedral roof. That cathedral roof is a big cluster of columns, winds up along the staircase all the way up into the next room on the other side.
Before we passed the large pillars and the columns and going around them, we were able to go down just a brief area into what was one of the prettiest sections of the whole cave right here. After going around the columns, that ended up being the tightest section in the whole cave. It really wasn't that big of a deal, just had to bend over as we were ascending the stairs.
We've got the palm tree. Palm tree is 24 feet tall. It is the tallest stalagmite in here. And down at the bottom right-hand side, you kind of look over is our toothpick. Toothpick is 12 feet tall. Over here you got the other side of the cathedral roof that is also part of that cluster. Now last but certainly not least, up here on the ceiling, right above me, we've got the chandelier.
The next bright area was called the Wishing Well, and it definitely reminded me of the movie The Goonies, and I wanted to yell, "Down here is our time! Our time!" But I didn't think the rest of the tour would really appreciate it. After the waterfall, we headed back. We were going back up to the entrance to the cave. But before we did that, there was the echo chamber, which I just simply couldn't resist.
Kind of like one of those didgeridoos.